the people with whom you spend time with, your reference group, determines as much as 95% of your success or failure in life.
Owning 100%, taking 100% responsibility for your actions. And this book reinforces that.
It's quite a simple concept to get your head around.
Yeah.
Compound. Small choices, small practices done over a long period of time will equal results.
Welcome back to another episode of Book Reviews with Ty and Fly. I go by Ty.
Yes, Mr. Fly. What's going on, everyone?
So this month we were reading The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. This was Mr. Fly's book. Yeah, cool. Firstly, why did you pick this book?
I picked it because it's from what I could remember, it's quite a good read. I'd read it before. I think I've read it. This might be the second or third time I've read it, and I just wanted to, I agree with the principles. Obviously, we know the principle of compounding, and it's good to see those principles applied to business, life, health, relationships, however you want to call it. So the theory behind it is something that I believe in and I agree with.
Yeah, cool. Well, I want to tell you, you've done it again. You've done it again.
Yeah.
Last year, you withheld David Goggins for how many months? This year, you held this out till the last month.
Is that
this year, you held out the Compound Effect to the last month of the year. I'm beginning to wonder about our friendship.
Listen, your track record isn't exactly clean, is it? Yeah. So, but yeah, all right. And fair enough. I'm glad you feel like that. I mean, so I take it you like it. It's funny reading it back.
Yeah.
Because obviously I like the book, hence why I recommended it. But like when you watch a film the second time, you notice things in it that you didn't notice the first time. Yeah. And I noticed in this book, man, like it's good. I don't want to start off on like a negative one, but he plugged his magazine way too much. Yeah. Which actually started annoying me. I don't know if you noticed it, because I didn't notice it when I first read it. Okay. But I was like, this guy's plugging his magazine. Like, and I've read a book like this before, a different book. I forget what it's called now. And I stopped reading it because it's like, this is just a pitch, just a sales pitch.
Yeah.
But this one, I think if the content's good enough and the stuff within the book is good enough, you kind of allow for that, because you don't mind reading it, because it's like, all right, you know what, he's plugging, but the information around that is actually good. So a little plug here and there. Yeah. But also, I think I don't know when the book was written, but it's quite old style. I don't know. What do you think? Like, the kind of way it's written is a bit old, or not?
I didn't find it old. I thought, I didn't find it old. I thought it was modern enough.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't written
like 2000s. 2000s. No, not like 2000s.
Yeah.
Because he talks about Twitter. He's talking about Twitter in it, so I don't know how long Twitter's been around, but
I don't know. I thought it was modern enough. Yeah. And in fact, I'm going to mention this at the end. I'm not going to comment it now. Let's just start off by talking about, at the beginning of the book, it intrigued me straight away. Tony Robbins, big motivational speaker. He wrote a message in the book. Don't listen to what people say, watch what they do, because what people say is one thing, but what they do reveals the truth about them. And I mean, there was so much in this book that I resonated with, which is one of the reasons why I probably enjoyed it so much. But I'm a man who believes in action. If someone tells me something, great, but I want to see it in action before I
don't tell me, show me.
Exactly. Don't tell me, show me, because a lot of people just say things just for the sake of saying things, rather than actually following through. So when people follow through, that's when I take it seriously. And this book is all about that, really. Not just that, but being true to yourself, being consistent. It's all about the principles that I follow. And I think one of the things that I loved about this book was it gave me a bit of hope. Should I say hope?
Yeah.
In the sense that I do a lot of things consistently. My business is growing gradually. And sometimes as a business owner, you feel like progress is stagnant, or it's slow, or you
know, non-existent.
Or non-existent.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes feel that way.
And this book helped to remind me that actually, no, you're doing the right things. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. And I mean, I was going to keep going anyway, but
yeah,
but it was just a nice reinforcement of doing things consistently over a long period of time is where you start to see results. And we'll come on to some examples in a moment. But yeah.
No, I mean, it's true. And I think what the book does well, and you know, when you look, so the compound effect is the principle of reaping huge rewards from a series of small, smart choices. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, that's what the compound effect is. If you apply a compact to finance, compounding straight to finance, same thing. Small rewards over time build up to be big results, you know? And I think, especially when you're like a business owner or anything, any area of your life that you care about, it's not necessarily the big things, the big gestures, the big moves. They don't just come out of the blue. They come from a lot of small maneuvers, small decisions, smart choices, step forward here, step right there, step left, right. You know, it's the small things and consistently done over time. Consistency, you know, that's something that I speak about a lot with my young people, something that I know it's about, sometimes it's just about being consistent. Do you see what I mean? And then with, that's what this book's really about. That's the essence of the book, you know, the effect and impact that it has on your life and your business and whatever it might be. And also, one thing that was a good reminder is that it has an effect either way, because if you're consistently inconsistent, you're still being consistent. You're just being consistently inconsistent. So the results of whatever you're trying to do are going to show those results.
Yeah.
And the same thing, if you're consistently consistent, it will show those results in what areas now. You know, what area do you apply that to? Something positive, something negative, something that's beneficial, something that's not beneficial, X, Y, Z. But, you know, something that it says here, I don't know how far into the book it says this, but it's like, only people that are living like a good life or are successful are people that take accountability for their life. You know, they're the ones who say, yeah, I'm self-made and whatnot, but everyone's self-made to some degree. You know, obviously there are external factors that do play a part. I'm not minimizing that at all. But, you know, what this book does, which I like about it, is it forces you to take accountability for the small steps, waking up early, going to bed early, whatever it might be for your sending that extra email, not the decision, you know, what's the right thing at that right time, the small thing that people might not even see. I mean, the amount of stuff you put out, you personally on your YouTube channels and whatnot, and the talks you do, there's still so much stuff that people don't see. Like that's, I mean, on a percentage, how much percentage would you say of the stuff you put out? What percentage of that is of what you actually do that what people see?
In terms of the YouTube video, in terms of what I
in terms of everything, in terms of you, your business, like everything you do, the work that you do versus what you put out, how much would you say percentage wise you put out versus what you actually do?
Yeah, I would say about probably less than 10%.
Okay, that's my point. So it's all those, there's so much more to it. So it's all those little things you do, because it's not even less than that, because you do other things that you're maybe not even aware of that are just automatic to you. And all that compounds and comes together to kind of bring the end result. That's basically the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you said about, you know, being consistently inconsistent. And, you know, sometimes we might do negative things or things that aren't pushing us towards the goals and the things that we aspire to achieve. And I wanted to just touch on, you know, a man starts baking and he starts eating the cakes that he's baking, you know, just little bits of the cake here and there, and he starts to get fat and he starts to get unmotivated, and then he's unmotivated to go for the walks that he used to go on. His wife unmotivated to go on the walks that he was going on with his wife. Now he's starting to neglect her, so she feels unloved. So now when other men are giving her attention, she's getting happy and she's getting compliments and attention and she's enjoying it. And he blames her, you know. But but at the end of the day, you know, if he didn't change and he maintained, you know, his motivation levels, he was still showing her the love and affection and whatnot, she wouldn't have, or in this example, she wouldn't have been intrigued by other men or compliments. Do you get what I mean? So it's like one of the things I loved about this book was taking 100% accountability for everything. Now, of course, we can't control external factors. We can't control the fact that our wife or partner or whoever, might get intrigued by someone else. However, in this example, she wasn't being intrigued by anyone else prior to him changing into an unmotivated individual. And I mean, one of the things that I've got written down here is owning 100%, taking 100% responsibility for your actions. And this book reinforces that throughout. Like, if you're overweight, that's your fault. If you're whatever, and that's I think that might be quite triggering to some people. Because they might feel that it's other external factors, but at the same time, what can you do to help whatever situation you're in?
No, with the accountability, I'm with you. I think there's accountability in every situation. I don't want to stick on it too long because I think you explained it well, but it's like there's always accountability to take.
Yeah.
But if you have to look for it, it's easy to kind of give it away and say, oh, well, it's not my fault. And some things that are external, one thing you do have control over is how you respond to a situation. So maybe that's the accountability there. If you're, there's there's not hundred examples. You gave a good one, but it's like you have the control of your response to a situation. That's one thing you always have control over, regardless of, even if it's unprovoked and something's happened to you or your business. Look at the last number of years. People, right, cool, lockdowns, kind of XYZ, all that kind of stuff. That's out of your control, but you can take accountability to the decisions that you made during that time, what you did, what you didn't do, what you should have done, what you shouldn't have done, XYZ. So there's always accountability, but you've got to look for it.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to just touch on one other point while it talks about, incremental changes, because a quote here: "We become like the frog in boiling water who doesn't jump to its freedom because the warming water is so incremental and insidious that he doesn't know he's getting cooked." So a frog in a nice, bowl of water, it's gradually getting warmer. He's enjoying it, and then eventually it's too hot and he's dying. He can't jump out.
I think that's not true. You know that.
Okay.
The scenarios like make sense, but I've heard people kind of debunk that myth. I think I even watched the video on YouTube, and they showed a frog jump out. Like, but I don't know. But the point is the same. It's like things happen so slowly, gradually over time. You don't realize it, and then sometimes it takes a moment of realization if you're lucky enough. Because some people aren't even lucky to have that cold slap in the face. Like, wow, this is not good. When you normalize things. You see what I mean? So, and that's why it's good to have people around you. It's good to have good support networks and whatnot, where they can kind of have a word with you and say, "Well, this isn't normal. It's not normal." Do you know what I mean? Or things aren't going well. Things aren't going as well as you think they are. But that goes into the second chapter about choices. And things like the choices you make. So it talks about and like you said about the success, the accountability, like owning 100% of what you do. We're all self-made. But again, only people that are successful actually kind of want to take that mantle. But we have to be like when you're trying to, you have to be patient, and you have to choose to be patient. When it comes to business, and I think that's one of the things this book gets wrong. And I think the fact that it's not like a super long book, and the fact that it's not like it's, we'll go into the difficulty rating later, but the fact that it's not a super hard read. It's quite a simple concept to get your head around. Compound small choices, small practices done over a long period of time will equal results. Positive results. They'll equal results. If you did 20 push-ups every day for the next 6 months, the first day you won't see anything. The second day you won't see. The third week you might might feel something, but you're not going to see anything. That's why I always like kind of fitness or sport as an example, like it's a good metaphor. So, but if you do that consistently for 6 months and you even start stepping up, before you know it, you'll see a change, and then if you put other changes around that, whether it's your diet, nutrition, other, you start adding things to the exercise, adding things to the workout. The same thing applies to your business. If you just put in a simple procedure that helps your business. You might not see the benefits straight away, but you have to then choose to be patient. And then over time, you'll see actually, this is making things a lot easier, a lot more streamlined.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things I love about this book is it can apply to anyone. Anyone can read this book. It's not a business book. It's not, for a particular type of business owner or niche or whatever. Literally anyone can read this book. And I think it can apply to anyone with whatever aspirations they have in life, whether it's career, health, whatever. And one of the other things it talks about is the complete formula for getting luck. Because, luck is luck. Some people get, crazy luck. Some people feel that they get no luck, right? But what's the quote? The quote, it wasn't in this book. Luck is when opportunity and preparation meet. And the author writes a clear structure on this. Preparation, so personal growth, your attitudes, your beliefs and your mindset, your positive outlook, the opportunity, a good thing coming your way, and the action, doing something about it. So the opportunity may present itself, but you need to take action in order to get that luck. And I actually want to give an example from someone that we both know. And they were actually talking to me, a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. And they were like, I want to start a business, but I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to present itself. I know when the opportunity comes, it's going to present itself. I just know when the opportunity comes. I said, well, opportunities don't just come like that. Maybe they might, you might get lucky, but first you need to take action. You need to do something that allows for opportunity to present itself. So long story short, they started a YouTube channel. They've started experimenting with posting videos. Some of their short videos have got thousands of views. And now they're starting to see, where can I get the opportunities? Oh, cool. I've got 1,000 views on this video. Let me post some content like this. Take action. Opportunities don't just come. Action leads to opportunities. And this book was a nice reminder of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it comes down to luck's a funny one because I think luck, would you say you're lucky?
No.
I mean,
would I? Well, I mean, I think we're all lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm no luckier than the next person.
Okay,
but am I lucky? Yeah, cool. I mean, I was raised by loving parents. Do you know what I mean? But that's my outlook. There's certain circumstances that I've gone through in my life that someone else might say, "Oh, I was unlucky," but actually, the way I see it is that I'm lucky. So I think again that comes down to your attitudes and beliefs. But am I luckier than the next person? I don't think so. What? And yourself?
No, I mean, it's annoying because we agree a lot of things, but because I agree with you because I was like, as I asked you the question, I asked myself, I was like, well, no, I am lucky. I'm lucky to be alive. Do you know what I mean? Not to say I had a life or death situation, but I didn't. But lucky in the sense where, I could not be alive. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So it's lucky in that sense. Lucky the family I have and the friends I have around me. Lucky for the upbringing I had, and all that kind of stuff. But again, like you said, it's maybe more about perspective, because I think you've in a previous book review we did, you spoke about someone that dropped in a coffee shop or something where he dropped $1 or something like that. And there was two. They did an experiment, and I think the first person didn't take the $1 or the second person took it or something. But the point is, it's about the outlook, and their outlook wasn't if depending on your outlook will define how lucky you are, because something could happen to you. Here's a perfect example. I was away this week and something happened when I got there, which was unlucky kind of thing. But then I was like, you know what, I'm actually glad this happened now at the beginning of my trip, as opposed to on the last day, on another day of the trip. I'm happy it happened right this second. So it's actually, I'm quite lucky. I didn't use the word lucky, but I'm just happy. I was happy because it was going to happen. It happened.
Yeah.
So the perspective I had on was like, right, I'd rather this didn't happen. But if it did happen, I'm glad it happened now, as opposed to at another time when I've got the time to actually deal with the situation right now. I can deal with it in this moment right now, as opposed to later on when I might not have the time and it might have a further impact. So that's just down to my outlook and perspective. And I guess that's how it is with like luck. But I think some people get offended if you say they're lucky in business, because it kind of disregards, or it can be seen to disregard, the amount of work that people have put in. Do you know what I mean? Because if someone says to you, "Oh, well, Tyler, man, you're lucky, man. You've got all this going on. You've got that. You're just lucky. You're lucky that such and such that gave you this opportunity. You're lucky that such and such put you in the room with that person, or X, Y, Z."
Yeah.
Not really. I wouldn't really call it luck. So it's always up for debate. It's an interesting debate.
Yeah. No, it is. Very interesting debate. But this book had so many different great points. The next point I wrote down was about habits, because actually we're gonna review a book on that, a specific book on that in our next review. But this book touches on habits, and it talks about how it's difficult to change long-lasting habits. So the example it uses, the bigger the tree, the deeper the roots. So the bigger you are doing something specific, the further you're ingrained in doing that. Just like big trees, their roots, you can't pull them out easily. Little trees, you can pull them out easily. So it's a lot harder to change habits later down the line. And it talks about ways of implementing habits. And one of those is using why power.
Yeah.
If your why isn't powerful enough, you'll resort back to sleeping through poor choices. So, I think, it talks about what is your why, what is your deeper motivation, what is your deeper reason behind whatever it is that you want to do.
I think it's good with motivation. It's good to have, it's like a purpose, really. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's your purpose? What's your reason for getting up out of bed, or what's your purpose for staying up late? And then again, it's like, no, I agree with you, to be fair, with that one. But they made in that chapter about habits, did you know they gave a very good analogy about the plane? I don't know if you remember it. So it's like, if a plane is tilted 1% off course,
it
will only 1%. It will ultimately end up 150 miles off course. So Los Angeles to NYC turns into Los Angeles to Albany or Denver. Like, that's just 1%. So if you apply that to your life and think, if you just diverge 1% away from your motivation or from your morals or from your values or whatever it is, you're coming off course. You're going off track. You see what I mean? So it's just, because I remember that analogy from when I first read the book. And that was something that stuck with me. I thought, right, only 1%. It's just, because if you think about it now, if you're walking in that direction towards something and then you just turn a little bit, you can end up missing where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah.
So again, goes down to choices, goes down to habits. It's a simple, I mean, look, man, the concept of the book's very simple.
Yeah.
Make smart choices. We're going to make mistakes. You're gonna get things wrong. Things are gonna go through. They're not gonna go through. But be consistent. Make smart choices. Do the best you can over a long period of time, and you'll get and the rewards will come to you. And again, you'll get lucky. And he talks about, I think, Jim, because he refers to Jim Rohn a lot. I mean, if people don't like, Jim Rohn's a G. Like, he's a legend. Like a lot of the guys now that are like top of the game. We spoke about Tony Robbins earlier. Obviously, this guy. A lot of people. He's the one that actually mentored them and was like their mentor.
No, Jim Rohn.
The luckier you get, the harder you work, or something along those lines. Do you see what I mean? So the harder you work, the luckier you get. So
and that's I mean, that's like, what other points in this book, man? Because it also talk about getting rid of bad habits, like doing it cold turkey or gradual. Did you write much on that? Getting rid of bad habits.
Getting rid of bad habits. No, I spoke a little bit about installing good habits.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I spoke about the 6 game changers. The 6 game changers for setting up good habits. So you've got to set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, for example, if let's use a fitness analogy. If you want to go to the gym in the morning and you know you struggle with getting up in the morning, there's things you can do to make it easier for you to be successful. You know, you can go to bed earlier. You can get your gym clothes out prepared. Some people sleep in their gym clothes. That's fine if that's what you want to do. That's not really my thing, but some people do that. You know, you can set your alarm at a time. There's things you can set yourself up for success. Give yourself the best chance to win. Second one, think addition, not subtraction. So, you know, you think like, okay, how can I add to this? You know, not taking away things, not to say punish yourself, but think positive, think addition, you know, like what more can I do as opposed to what less can I do, you know?
I think the term he uses there was, you know, where if it would come to diet, it was, I get to eat salad today.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, oh, I don't get to eat curry or whatever.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was it. So it's like, I mean, and I do this a lot personally, but it's like changing your have tos to your get tos.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have to, like, I had to take some time off work. I take some time out this week. And I was like, you know what? I get to take, not that I have to, I get to.
Yeah.
I get to do this. You know, I'm lucky to be in this position that I get to do this. Obviously, just got married recently. Getting married is like a stressful time. It's a pressured time. But I was like, actually, you know, I'm lucky. I get to go through this. Like, you change your have to, and just that little perspective change will change your outlook on things. So changing, so addition, not subtraction, or changing your get tos. So you have to, so you get tos. You get to do it. You get the opportunity, because a lot of people would love to have the opportunity to be in that position. Mm-hmm. Then 3, and this made me think about you. Obviously the event we just did, public displays of accountability, you know, and the problem now, right, is a lot of people do this, but they don't do the follow through. Like, I see it so much on like social media. It's just like ridiculous, where big news coming soon, or, you know, like, I'm about to make these moves, they get all the adulation before, but then they don't really follow through, which is a shame for them. But in regards to you, it's like, you know, you did it with the event, you put up a post, so you put it out there, that public accountability, like public display. So you kind of put it out there to say, look, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. And you did it. And like, obviously that is one of the steps that kind of will make you will instill good habits, because you knew, now I've put it out there. The next one, find a success buddy. You know, I guess we've got, you know, Entrepreneur Club, accountability partners, you know, whether it's people in your business, whether it's people in your family, you know, you're definitely like a success buddy of mine, someone where we, you know, we kind of push each other along, we help each other out. You know, competition and camaraderie. Again, you know, I think a lot of this applies to, when I was reading this thing, a lot of this applies to me and you. And then obviously celebrate your wins. Do you know what I mean? So it's all, these are the ways to instill good habits. One good thing as well, which he touched on, he didn't refer to it as this, but you mentioned about a tree and the roots of the tree, and how kind of those are bad habits. The bigger the tree, the bigger the roots. Yeah. Now, the good thing with the human brain and with us is that we can learn new things. Yep. You know, through like neuroplasticity. So that's how you learn new skills and stuff like that. So if you have bad habits, if you have bad eating habits, if you have any sort of bad habits, you can unlearn them and you can learn new habits. Obviously, we're going to talk about this in the next book, but I'm sure you might even touch on this. But it's like the brain is able to forge new connections, and the more you do something, you ingrain it more, till it becomes automatic. So these are those were what did you think about those techniques first?
No, definitely. And just to touch on that last point there, you know, there are examples of people who might have been smoking 30 years, 40 years, then boom, something happens in their life, they stop, cold turkey, bam, no more cigarettes ever again. It's like, what, like, there's proof that people can, you know, change. They might still get the urge to smoke, or they might still think about it, but they've changed. So yeah, I thought, I mean, this kind of is a system that the book we're going to read next month goes through. So I'm going to move on to the next point, because we're going to go through in our next book, more about habits. What I did like as well was Big Mo.
Not from EastEnders, not the one from EastEnders.
Yeah, not from EastEnders. which is basically momentum. When you start to do stuff and see success and, you know, start enjoying things, the momentum continues. Like it keeps on going. And then, you know, if you slack off, you're still moving, but then there will eventually become a point where the momentum stops. So it's important to just keep that momentum going. And I really did like talking about Big Mo. Yeah, I really did like talking about what, I don't know, what do you think on that?
No, it's momentum, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
you know, one win leads, and as well, the good thing with momentum is like, even if you take an L, like if you start at the beginning and you have a big setback right at the beginning and you've got no momentum behind you, it's easy to get discouraged. But then if you're kind of in a winning groove or in a groove, or you know, you're in that kind of, you've got momentum behind you and you take it L, you kind of be like, all right, cool, we just suck that up and keep it moving. Do you know what I mean? So I think once you've got it, it's easier to maintain. But then once, it's harder to build up, but once you do have it, it kind of, you know, it pulls through. And so yeah, no, I agree with it. There's not really, I can't say, besides the consistent plugging of his magazine, like there's not much. Like, it's hard to disagree with this book. It's common sense, logical, you know, simple concept.
And it also touches on our influences. Chapter 5, I've got down here. And we mentioned this earlier, but you are 100% responsible for your life. But your choices, behaviors, and habits are influenced by very powerful external factors. So you're 100% you're 100% responsible for your decisions and your choices, but your external factors, but you're influenced by external factors, and those can be things like input. So, for example, the things that you feed your mind. So, like what you watch, what you see on TV, what Instagram or social media pages you follow. So, all of those have an impact on the way you think and the way you act. Your association, the people you spend time with. This is one that, you know, I love, because it's so important to try and surround yourself with people who are on the same goals and ambitions as you are, because it can help you get where you want to be. If you're surrounded by people that always go gym, you're more likely to go gym. If you're surrounded by people that always smoke, drink, and whatever, you're more likely to indulge in those things. So association, and the last one he mentions is environment. So your surroundings, the things that are around you in your environment. If you work in a chocolate factory, you might be more likely to eat chocolate, for example. And this was so powerful, because I think this helped me this helped me explain to myself why I do some of the things that I do. Because I like to be surrounded by positive people. I some of the choices I make throughout my day are to continue with these bad habits. I don't want to be surrounded by any negative energy. You know, anyone that speaks to me with negativity, I spin it. Bam. What's the positives? You know, I don't need that. I don't want to hear your negative side. Give me the positive. Give me the successful side of this story, or you know, what you've learned, because that's the way I want to live my life. So I need the people around me to see things that way too. So yeah, that the influence was again.
No, I think definitely like with the associations, and again, like where we work with young people, this is something that I explain to them a lot, because it normalizes their behavior. Like if you're in a group, like you said, if you're in a group of people that focus on positive things, whether it is fitness, whether it's business, whether it's academics, whether it's whatever it might be, education, growth, it's like that becomes normal.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're in a room, I was speaking with one young person a few weeks ago, and he's a boxer, he's into boxing, but obviously he's got different types of friends. And then I was like, okay, one of his group of friends, they smoke and they drink. They're quite young. They're too young to be doing what they're doing. And then the other group of friends are just on training and training. That's it. They just want to train. So I was like, all right, imagine you're with your boxer friends and you pull out something to smoke and you pull out some drink. How are they going to look at you? Like, oh, I wouldn't do it. Like, they just look at me. You'd be weird. You'd be the odd one out. Because they'll be like, what are you doing, bro? We're about to train or whatever. Now imagine you're with your other friends and they're pulling out whatever they're pulling out to smoke, and they're pulling out their drinks or whatever they're doing. And then you say, no, come, let's go for a jog. Like, let's go for a run. Like, let's go and train. They're going to look at you like you're crazy because you're kind of bringing one world into the other world. So I said, whichever one you stay in is going to become normal for you. And that's your choice. Ultimately, you can't, oh, my friends. Nah, it's on you. You decide where you want to sit and where you want to stay. I'm not saying, like, everyone's got different types of friends. That's cool. But at the end of the day, you decide what your normal is, because you're either going to do positive things or you're going to do negative things. And it's going to change it's going to affect the outcome of your life. So that is very important, because it becomes normal.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a room and everyone's talking about one thing and you're on another, you're the odd one out, and, you know, we're social creatures and all that kind of stuff. People, you know, so you got to find your kind of tribe or find your group of people, you know, and that's the shame that you see with a lot of people, not only young people, but people in general, where they conform to things that don't actually go with their real ideals or values just to kind of be accepted in a group. But what you need to realize is there's more than one perspective on life. There's more than one type of group of friends. So, you know, but yeah, that it says here, psychologist Dr. David McClelland of Harvard, associations, the people with whom you spend time with, your reference group, determines as much as 95% of your success or failure in life. There's nothing more to say. That's
95%. I remember that.
95%. Yeah. So you fly with pigeons, you'll be a pigeon. You fly with eagles, you'll be an eagle. As simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, man. That I mean, I don't know how to. I'm speechless off of that one because it just hits. That's why.
It's true.
It just
it's
hits.
True. One thing I'll say, yeah, just I don't know. I know we've still got a few chapters to go through, but, you know, just in general, one thing that I noticed with a lot of people, and again, I'm thinking of more. Obviously, I think about the young people I work with. And he does talk about this in the book. I forget which chapter. And it's like, especially now, January's coming up. Okay, people don't really. I think the trend of New Year's resolutions is kind of, people now mock people that set up New Year's resolutions. But I do think that I'm not one of those people. I don't mock them. But a lot of people are motivated at the beginning of the year, so it's a good natural motivator. You know, it's new year, new me, whatever your vibe is.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that, because you got to take the motivation where you can. The problem is what people do is they set themselves up to fail. Again, going back to the habits of setting up of good habits, you got to set yourself up for success. Now, let's say you want to lose weight, and that's going to take a lot of incremental changes for you to do that. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you say to yourself, yeah, from tomorrow, I'm going on this diet, I'm only going to eat 1 grain of rice a day, and that's it. How realistic is that you're going to be able to continue that over time?
Yeah.
How realistic is that you're going to be consistent with that? Now, what you're better off doing is looking at what you consume on a daily basis, weekly basis, and then say, okay, where can I make some small changes in that? Maybe I don't, there's different methods. I'm not a nutritionist, but there's different ways you can apply. There's different things you can apply to help you achieve your goal, which isn't so massive. Because what then happens is you set yourself some mad high target, and then you can't keep it up consistently over time. So it affects your motivation. So it actually has a negative effect. You might be super on it he gives an example in the book, but you might be super on it for like 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, even a month. But the reality of it is this: can you be consistent?
Yeah.
Can you keep this up? Can you do this for the next year?
Yeah.
That's when I'm making decisions. I'm not thinking now. I'm thinking, can I keep this up for the next year, 2 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
Honestly, and if it's a no, then it's like, boy, then I'm not really gonna, I can't, like, I need to make it consistently sustainable. And that's it, man. It's not even complicated at all. People set themselves up to fail too much. Not all people. Some people set themselves up to fail, and then it has the ulterior effect, because it now affects your motivation next time around. Or every time I try to lose weight, I never do. Every time I try to start up a business, I never do. You're doing too much at steps. Take small steps, baby steps, man.
Yeah, people want results just like that.
Microwave mentality.
Microwave mentality. People want results just like that, and it's not about fast results. It's things take time, but consistency, pays off. Compounding. Yeah, the name of the book, the compound effect. Yeah, it compounds over time. Small incremental changes, change your life. We haven't got much time left, actually. But I wanted to touch on an example when it in the last chapter. It's about acceleration and accelerating your life, your business, whatever. And it talks about doing the unexpected.
Yeah.
And he talks about a friend of his that had this job opportunity. I think he got down to like the last 6 or last 3 or whatever. And his friend was like asking him for some advice. And he said, how much do you want this job? And he said, I really want this job. This job would change my life. It would be amazing. But the interview was in like a different city. So he said to him, rather than doing an online interview, fly there. Go, if you really want this job, fly there. Do something out of the ordinary. Stand out. Do the unexpected. Go. And I wish I could give the fairy tale ending, but the guy didn't do it, and he didn't get the job. But it was just a nice reminder that you need to do things to stand out. If whether that's in business with customers or whether that's in life with job interviews, do things that separate you from the crowd. And yeah, man.
No, I think, but even what's funny, right? I think in this society now, like even the smallest things, just being like, because people don't like even just being polite, just being efficient, doing what you're saying you're actually going to do. I think sometimes those are enough nowadays to kind of be extraordinary or to stand out, because a lot of people don't necessarily even have those values as such, or they don't act that way. So I don't think it's as hard now as it is to be to stand out, if you get what I'm saying. Do you get what I mean? Like to really stand out anyway, because there's a lot of grand gestures that are done sometimes and whatnot. I'm thinking of business and I'm thinking of marketing, but something as simple as having that relationship and building that rapport, really taking time to just really listen, like really actually listen to what someone's saying, not just like, okay, yeah, and give them the the automatic response. Really listen and really take time. So I don't think it's as difficult to do that.
Yeah. No, definitely. The last thing I wanted to touch on was that I got finessed by this book. This book finessed me.
You signed up. You got a magazine?
No, I didn't sign up. Not quite that finessed. He did plug the website a lot, which I actually haven't gone on. Maybe I'll have a look at it. But I still got finessed. But at the same time, I was happy.
Finessed?
I'll explain. I was happy to be finessed. I was happy to be manipulated in this example, because he talks about paying it forward at the end. And he's had a lot of help from his mentor, and his mentor helped him, so he helps other people, or helps whoever else out. And that's something that I do as well. I mentor a couple people, help them with their business. I've had mentors. I've still got mentors that help me with my business. And it's just nice to return the reward, or return the help that you get to someone else. It might not be to the person that gave it to you, but just pay it forward. And at the end, he talks about, paying it forward by gifting this book to someone to help them with their life. And I bought it for 2 people, and
that's not finesse.
No, it's not finesse. It's not finesse. But I understand the play that he did
there. Okay.
He's like, help someone else out, give them my book.
Buy my book for them.
And it's like,
but look, it's the value though. You saw value in it, otherwise you wouldn't have.
So that's why I say I was happy to be finessed, because
that's funny.
Yeah, like
you're the last person I would have thought would have done that. Like
what?
Like that's funny. Because like you said, the 4 persons you just had, I could see you being like, no, I'll just give them mine or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, cool. That's funny.
Yeah.
You did get for
no, in that instance, I was like, do you know what? I enjoyed the book. I rate it. I agree with everything in it. Let me spread this because this is, and that leads me on to, there's a link in the description box. Get this book. I can't buy it for everyone, but buy it for yourself. It's a fantastic book. Any last points?
No, man. I mean, it's no. To be fair, he talks about the last thing in the conclusion, the ripple effect of helping others and giving generously in your time and energy is that you become the biggest beneficiary of your personal philanthropy, and I can speak to that personally. So yeah, man, the ripple effect of giving.
Yeah.
And it's not like you give to receive, but one of the results of giving is that you will also receive. It's one of the results, whether it's just a receiving of feeling good about giving, So, look, man, it's been a long year. It's been a hard year, but we go into 2023 with our eyes open and feeling positive, man.
Yeah.
So just thanks for everyone. If anyone, if you've read if you've watched all of these book reviews this year, I just want to say thank you. Because I accidentally bought 2 copies of Atomic Habits, which is the next book. I know, sorry, well, no spoiler, they already told them. Yeah. But if you DM me on Insta or if you get at me and if you watched every episode, just send me your details. I'll send you 1 copy if you want it.
Yeah, and I'll put DM. I'll put
DM Tyler. Yeah, DM Tyler on.
I'll put the Instagrams in the bio. So yeah, if you're quick enough, DM one of us and you'll get that book. Okay, difficulty rating. It is me. You picked this book. Yeah, it's me. Difficulty rating. This wasn't a hard book to read at all. I read it so quick. I think partly because I enjoyed it so much. I read it in like 10 days or something like that. It was like I was banging it out. And the chapters are small. They've got nice small subject sections. 1 out of 5. Not difficult at all. And yourself?
I'll give it a 1.5 because of the consistent plugging of Success Magazine. That's the name if you want it. I wasn't going to say it, but why not? It's a Success Magazine. Go watch it. Go read it. Subscribe.
So you got finesse too?
Because I plugged in. No, I plugged in. It's fine.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah. Don't worry. It's cool. It's. I'm happy to be finessed. Like I said. Star rating. Now, I love this book. If you couldn't tell already, I love this book. The one thing that made it lose a little bit of points was because there wasn't a key action from this that I was going to implement in my life. It was kind of more just continue doing what you're already doing. Whereas with a lot of the other books, there are things that I've taken and I've implemented into my life. Whereas this one, it was kind of like a reminder of everything that I'm kind of already doing, which if you're not doing it, it's new information. So anyway, I say all that to give this a 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I love this one, a 4.5.
Wow, that's high. Wow, I'm glad you like it that much. That's big. For me, I liked it. I like it. Obviously, I've read it. I think I read it. Anyway. It's a solid 3 for me.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it's a solid 3. It's a good book. I would recommend it. I've recommended it. That's a 3. I mean, not, and I've got nothing, but besides the plugin, I've got nothing negative to say about the book. I'm not questioning why that we're so different in our numbers.
Yeah.
But maybe because I've read it before. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, for me, solid 3, solid, so like a strong 3. Like
okay.
3. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Wicked. Cool. Well, next month's book we have Atomic Habits, which is this. We are going to kickstart the year reading this book. If you want to join us on our book journey, please buy it. The link is in the description box.
Or DM.
The review will be out on the first Friday of the month. And thanks again for supporting the team. Hit the like for the algorithm. And peace and love.